one more episode of Don't Shit on the Bus. We are here with a really good one. I know I say every one is a really good one, but we've got my all-time favorite combo. We have an artist and their crew member on the show today, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Michelle, or MGH, all the way from Australia, and Ruel for doing this. And you know, it definitely could not have been possible without Michelle. Of course, appreciate you too as well, Ruel, but I did not reach out to him myself and say, hey, come on the podcast. I reached out to Michelle and said, hey, I would love to have both of you guys on, and she made it happen. So, you know, it's his trust in her, just demonstrated by the fact that he was like, I'll go on a podcast with a pretty immature but makes sense kind of name and do this with her. And I appreciate that. So thank you, both of you guys, for doing this. I hope that everyone listening can learn something from this, because that's the goal. And it was fun. It was fun to just hear people who are so personable and get along so well just hang out. And, you know, they're in heavy lockdown down in Australia, so they really haven't been able to hang out. So I think this is just their excuse to chat for an hour. But I'm happy to be the vessel to deliver that excuse. So thank you for allowing me to come and hang out with you guys. It was a good episode. I mean, we talked about touring with Ruel. She's been with him for the past 6 years. He's been growing up on the road. He's, I don't even think he's 20 yet. So the past 6 years there's just some transformative. You grow a lot in those 6 years. You know what I mean? So it was an important time to be with him, and they've toured around the world together: Europe, US, UK, Asia, a lot of the fun stuff, Australia, of course. And I hope they can get back out on the road soon. But yeah, enjoy the episode. Let me know what you think. As always, subscribe, whatever you want to do. If you want to support the show, you can do that with our Patreon. It's patreon.com/DSOTB. Don't Shit on the Bus. And we do have a new one this week. So thank you, Alfonso, for signing up and joining us on Patreon. We appreciate you and appreciate your support. You know, that is how I afford Connor. That is how we afford everything we do. And, you know, this week we started creating a list on the Discord because some people are touring now. So when they tour and they go to a city, we want to know who lives there so they can meet up with other members of Don't Shit on the Bus. And of course, if you sign up, we send you some bag tags and stickers. One that has a poop with a giant cross through it, because you put it where you should not shit, which is probably on the bus. Anyway, that is my spiel for the Patreon. We appreciate everybody who supports it. Thank you, everybody in the Discord, for hanging out every week. I know I've been a little bit absent the past few weeks, but I've now relocated to LA. So now I should be able to concentrate a bit more now that my time is not being spent loading things in a U-Haul. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. So take it away, Michelle, Ruel, and me, and enjoy this podcast. I mean, I usually just start out by saying thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us. I'm
thanks
excited for this. Michelle and I haven't done a interview, or like, I don't know, whatever. This is an interview, like you're saying. It's just a hangout.
Yeah. A hangout.
Yeah. We've never done something like this before, though, so it's gonna be cool.
And we actually haven't even got a chance to hang out for ages either, because we've been in lockdown city for so long. So this is cool.
Yeah, you haven't pointed that dirty camera in my face in almost a year and a half, which is crazy.
It's been a while.
I'll be your guys' chaperone for the hangout here. I'll just be the overseer while you guys see each other for the first time in a long time.
Come up with interesting conversation points in case we run dry.
Guided hangout. Well, no, I mean, Michelle and I have hung out before. We've talked. We're familiar with each other. Ruel, we really appreciate you being here. Obviously, it's of an outside your comfort zone, maybe not outside your comfort zone, but we just really appreciate your time, you know? So thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
And the goal today is just kind of learn about you guys, learn about your relationship, and how you guys work together, some stories you have. We just want to know how you don't shit on the bus and, you know, have a good time on tour. But if you want to start, can we hear the shit on the bus story first? We can omit names.
I feel like
I'd love to hear it.
I feel like every artist or like touring crew has a shit on the bus story. I feel like we're not that special, but I don't know. I feel like it would be rude not to tell the story because, you know, we're on Don't Shit on the Bus. Yeah, Michelle, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, well, I could start off with how I found it out, because I think that is actually hilarious. So
that's probably the best part of the story.
Yeah, it's my favorite part of the story. So we were in Berlin, and we actually had a couple of days stopover, and the band had gone out the night before. And I didn't go out because I usually am editing late, and I also don't drink. So I'm the nana, so I usually just go to bed. And they were up really late and they came home. I can't remember what time they came home. But anyway, in the morning when we parked, I walked to the day room with Ruel's mum. So Ruel was like super young then, maybe 16, I think. So Ruel's mum was on the tour with us. And we walked to the day room and Kate said to me, oh, you know, the boys were a bit rowdy last night. I had to clean up a little mess. And I was like, I'm thinking somebody had vomited or something. And I was like, oh my God, that is so gross. You had to like clean up spew. And she's like, oh, no, it wasn't spew. And I was like, what?
What else could it be?
No, it was like number twos. And I was like, there's no way that you as Ruel's mum should be doing that on this tour. Like, what?
The best part about it was that, like, it was the one rule everyone had. Like, you know, as soon as you get on a bus, the bus driver, the tour manager, whoever it is, it's just like, don't shit on the bus. Whatever you do, just do not shit on the bus. Like, it's a huge thing.
It's a huge deal.
And then, like, it was not even like really in the toilet, was it? It was just like he kind of disobeyed every rule possible.
Yeah,
and,
I think it was all, yeah. And your mum had to look after it, which, oh my God.
She's used to that though. I feel like if anyone, she'd be the best at it.
I would not.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have coped with that if I had
Mum would
seen
just be like, yeah, another day in the office. And
Yo, I feel like parents always tell me that. They're like, yeah, I've had a kid, you know, poop isn't a thing anymore. It's just not grossing me out. And I'm going to assume that nobody here has kids, actually. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, none of us are parents. And I don't know if I'll ever get over it, though. People say that, but I can't imagine a world where I'm like, okay with it. I can't handle dog poop, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know. It's just, yeah. Anyway, poor we're completely starting this interview absolutely shitting on him. But hey,
we're not going to name.
We'll just bleep it.
Poor beep. Yeah. I like that.
Poor beep. Yeah.
Well, respect to your mom for taking over and doing the damn thing, because I know there's repercussions if you don't clean that up.
Yeah, that was the thing. There was like that the bus driver had said there's a fine, like there's, and then the person was like, am I going to get this? It was like $2,000 or something. It was something like crazy. It was like some crazy fine because they had to clean out the tank
just
or something.
To scare you, yeah.
It was definitely just to scare, but it was pretty funny.
Hey, it works. Everybody we've had on is like, oh yeah, we do not do that. Except for one person was like, oh, we're pretty wealthy. We have a grinder. And I was like, wow, that's a level of touring I want to get to.
Well, is that better? You just
I don't know how that's better. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not better. It's still stored. Basically, it just, we don't have to get into deep. I know it's the name of the...
Let's go. I'm
So how it works is it basically turns the solid to liquid, and then they're allowed to put it on the bus. So they get it's called a grinder. And
I was thinking like mince. Like that was my image. Like, you know, it wasn't turning to liquid. It was more of like a meaty consistency.
A meaty texture.
Yeah, I'm happy to just keep going.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
We could just...
We'll have to ask. We'll get him back on. So tell us about this grinder. Specifics.
I can't imagine the smell, but this is the thing. I thought that was the whole point, was like, it's not going anywhere. So it's like, it's not going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that, you know, when you're younger, you have your parents tell you something that makes sense when you're younger, and you get older and you're like, that wasn't true. I just believed it. This might be that thing on tour that they just tell you, but there's no way of verifying or seeing something else. So they just tell you these things, so nobody does it. Who knows?
There is a lot of that.
We got to get a bus driver on here. Yeah.
That's you do. Can you please get one on just to find out?
Oh man, bus driver. I'm sure you guys know bus drivers are a different breed.
Fuck.
Oh, do we know that?
We've had some absolutely.
We've had some doozies.
Oh, you had some wild bus drivers?
We had a couple that were like, we thought, you know, they were going to be a bus driver for the whole tour. And then it got to the Canadian border and he was like, I can't cross legally. I can't cross.
Yeah, he's got a felony or something.
Yeah. Like, you got to get another one. And he was like, and we're like, fuck, okay. And then he just...
You knew this was happening.
And then we had this other tour bus driver for the Canadian bit of the tour. And yeah, that was funny.
The American bus driver would every day you'd wake up and Fox News was on, so you just had all of this like pro-Trump stuff, like it was the first thing that you woke up with, and it was like super overwhelming. You're trying to have a cup of tea and you're just like, oh my God, like just feeling super uncomfortable. And then the European one, he actually was okay, and then something happened right at the end, and everyone, like, there was some dodgy story and he ended up being like just a complete jerk. And it just
Anyway.
like ruined everything. Anyway.
Well, it sounds like you guys have had a lot of stories and a lot of
Go
experiences.
on about stuff that is not relevant at all to what we're probably trying to talk about. But
No, I'm just saying it's good because I'm sure a lot of them will continue to come up as we talk. But I want to take, I'm sure you guys know, and maybe people who are familiar with you guys know, but I want to go back to kind of when you guys met so we can at least start there. And from what I understand, you guys, Michelle's been working with you guys for like, was it 6 years or is it longer than that?
6 years.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think
Sounds
it's 6
right.
years, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I want to know how you guys met. So correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but you kind of came on with like a team and started working with Ruel. Can you just tell me a little bit about that before we go into Ruel's side of it? So I just want to know the setup of how you became working together.
Yeah, I think it's important for context too, because the team was kind of mostly established when Ruel came along. So Ruel's manager and Ruel's creative director are two people that I've worked with for a very long time. They actually were really instrumental in a previous project that I did as well, which was a book. So Ruel's manager, Nate, was the co-producer of my book, and Ruel's creative director was actually the designer of my book as well. So we'd work on a number of projects together. And also Jeremy Grey Ghost, who's Ruel's creative director, he also directs a lot of video clips. And at that time, I was working really closely with Jeremy on a bunch of video clips. I would assistant direct with him. I would do stills. And so the team was working really, really closely together. And in fact, the team was working together on a project when we met Ruel's dad. So Ruel's dad was actually a client on a project that we were working for one of Nate's other artists. And so we were actually working with Ralph for a couple of days in a row. And I think it was after that project finished, Ruel's dad actually showed Nate a recording of Ruel and said, hey, will you listen to this? And that's kind of where the story starts.
As dads and moms do, hey,
What a little stage dad. Look at him go. So funny looking back at that. I would have if I was there at that, I reckon if I was there at that shoot for any reason, that recording would have never been shown to Nate.
Dad, stop.
You would have been mortified.
Yeah. No, that's old Ralphie. So yeah, that's kind of how I met my manager, Nate. And then I just started to meet the team. When we started to, work together, I was just doing these video shoots where I was singing covers, and I started writing a little bit. Yeah, that's when I met Michelle. I think was it at that. Which shoot was that? Was that the Powerful shoot? Would have been, or the
I think the first time I met you actually randomly was when you did that. When Hugh left Melbourne and you did you did that gig.
Yeah.
You did So Nate's best friend left to go to London.
Nate is the manager. Your current manager.
Nate is the manager. Yes.
Okay, I'm getting these names. I got it.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's confusing. And so Ruel came along that night to do some acoustic kind of covers. And I remember it being weird because you weren't even allowed in the venue because I think you were 14 at the time. And so there was this whole thing that had to get you to perform really quickly and then leave.
Yeah.
But I remember it specifically because Ruel was he was really tiny, super, super young, and hadn't shot up to 6'4" yet. And was kind of shy. But it was the first time I heard him sing, and I cried. I was sitting there crying in this venue.
Michelle does that a lot though, so I wouldn't take that.
I do get emotional
it's not
a lot.
As meaningful when you do it all the time, Michelle. You have to save it.
This was the first time, so it would be more meaningful the first time. So
okay.
I got really emotional and was wow, this kid's really special and his voice is just incredible, and I was just really blown away. So and then I think I remember the first time we shot at my studio. I don't know if that was the first time that was the first time we did an official shoot. And I remember saying to Nate, Ruel had, I think, done 1 or 2 shoots before. And I remember saying to Nate, he's better than probably 90% of people I've ever worked with, just in terms of how he, was just in front of the camera, just super self-aware and not in a posy way, actually just a really relaxed, chill way. Just was
You're talking about Ruel's ability to be photographed, not about his, maybe talking about his music as well, but that's not what you're saying right now.
His ability to be photographed, yeah. So sorry if I'm embarrassing you, Ruel, because I don't think I've ever told you this. So.
He's writing it down. He's very good at being photographed.
No, he was just really natural. And he was really young. He was 14, and you would expect someone to not be as, self-aware or be just really, you guys work with musicians as well. A lot of them are actually really nervous in front of the camera and actually really difficult to work with. And Ruel wasn't from the very start. So it's always been a pleasure to shoot him because he enjoys having his photo taken and is just really natural. And like I said, not really in an overly posy way, just relaxed and easy to shoot. So yeah, it's always been easy to work with him.
Wow.
That's great. Well, Ruel, I know you were a bit younger at the time when you guys first met, obviously, but is it something that they approached you? And I mean, how did that feel? Or was it just all done through, I don't know too much about how your business worked back then, but I don't know if it's appropriate to say, was it done through your parents or did you make these decisions? What was it like from your end?
It was strange. It was like when it all started to happen, I guess, and I started to write music and do shows and do photo shoots and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of always just thought of it as like some hobby, and I became just good friends with my team. Like it felt weird because I was like 14, 15, but it felt like, I don't know, I kind of met them halfway in age. Like they kind of came down 10 years and I kind of went up 10 years, and like we kind of met, like I was quite mature and then all my team were like super immature, and it was great.
So true.
And yeah, it worked really well. So like it was like we became friends. Like it didn't feel like they were like my team that were, you know, that could be my parents or like my parents. Yeah, my dad kind of got me into the business just through that, showing Nate that thing because he works in advertising, and just, you know, met him on a whim on the shoot. But other than that, no, I kind of just was doing it by myself with my team, and I really loved it. And I didn't really think of it as anything like that I was gonna do this for my life and this would be my career and this would, you know, be the thing that I could pursue and, you know, take around the world. Like I never thought of it like that. I was just like, I love doing this. I have fun doing this. And if I can do this more and, you know, write music and put it out and play shows, like that's all I want to do. So why not just take this opportunity? Yeah. And then it all just came quickly, and then everything just started to snowball a little bit. And then next thing I know, Michelle and I and my band and Joel, my videographer, and Nate were like in Berlin and France and doing all these crazy
Japan.
shows. So and Japan, exactly. Japan was like the first place we went.
Yeah.
Like properly overseas to do a show. And that was incredible. And then when I kind of realized that I was doing it at this scale, I was like, oh my God, like I can do this for a living. Like how did I get here? Like what did I do to deserve it? Like it's pretty amazing.
So it sounds like you were just kind of taking it, living in the now and just taking it one moment after the next. And then at one point.
And I feel like that's the way it helped me cope with it all. It was like the living in the now and taking it one moment as it comes, and like kind of just not setting yourself too many goals as well. Just kind of, just taking it day by day really helped me kind of keep my head on straight, I feel like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, thinking about these things as a big picture can probably be quite overwhelming the first time you do it. And then if you continue to do it, you probably trip yourself out a little bit.
Yeah, because also too, like some of the first places we went, like Japan, I remember, you know, there was fans waiting for Ruel at the hotel and at airports and stuff. And again, Ruel's really young, and I think we were shocked at how well he coped with it. And I think, like he just explained, obviously just living in the now, I think we were more worried about how he's going to cope with everything. And Ruel was kind of just going with the flow and really, really managing with it really, really well. And it just kind of got bigger and bigger as well. So it's always been impressive to see how grounded Ruel stayed. And like I genuinely mean that. Like he's just a really, really lovely person to be around and a pleasure to work with. And it just is like friends. Like it's always been like that. The team's really tight, and it doesn't really feel, it never really felt like there was a little kid. It always felt like we were all kind of hanging out. So when he said that thing about we all kind of came down in age and he went up, like I feel like that's very true. It never felt like there was just this little child around us. It always felt like just another friend.
I mean, hearing what you did when you were 14 demonstrates that you were more mature, because when I was 14, I'm thinking back, there wasn't a conscious effort to do anything for me. So, well, I'm excited to hear about the family aspects of this more so when we talk about touring and how you guys tour. But before we get there, I wanted to say, like, I know that most artists will get a touring photographer and then kind of break the rest of their visuals up amongst other creatives. However, with you guys, not only does Michelle photograph you on the road, but she, works closely with the creative director, Jeremy, and photographs your album covers, press shots, visuals for posters, etc. So from an artist standpoint, Ruel, what's it like being able to kind of consistently work with another artist on the visual aspect of your career? Like, is that, what's that feel like?
It's just heaps easier. It's so good. Like the fact that Michelle's so amazing at both, it was just like the luckiest thing, because I feel like there's not many people or not many like photographers who could do, touring and show photography and the kind of editorial press, album cover stuff as well. Like, yeah, it's been pretty great. And I feel like Michelle and Jeremy, who I was talking about before, who's my creative director, and we all have a very similar sort of idea of what we think is cool and what we think is good and what we think is, new. And there's never any clashing heads. Like we all kind of, I don't know, it works just really, really well. We all feel good when we finish a shoot. We never feel like anyone was uncomfortable, any opportunity was missed. Yeah, it's always been a really steady flow, which I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah. What's it like when you do shoot with other photographers? Like, I'm sure there is there times when a magazine is like, you have to shoot with this photographer or something like that?
Yeah, it is like that a lot. Like especially when I'm doing like magazines and
like a cover or something.
That. Yeah, like cover and magazines and stuff like that. Then that's really the only times I wouldn't work with Michelle. I don't know. I feel like it's just always easier with Michelle because I can always tell her if I don't want to do something, or, can always kind of, I just feel a lot more comfortable. So I guess with other photographers, I've worked with like other great photographers, but it never really feels like I can, reach my potential of like, different, ways of posing my body and shit like that. Like I feel like I'm a little bit more conservative with other photographers, but with Michelle, I'm just like, yeah.
Well, I think too, like that trust has been established too, because he knows, like Ruel knows that he has sign off on everything as well. So that's something really important. It's always up to Ruel with what goes out. So if we try something and we do really all push ourselves creatively. That goes for the whole creative team. We really push ourselves to be the best every single time. And if something doesn't work, then it just means that, people aren't going to see it. And that doesn't always happen with, when you're doing other shoots, and stuff can get published that you're not overly happy with. So I think there's that trust and freedom as well, which I think is a really great part of working with someone. Yeah.
It's quite like scary sometimes when you're in a studio doing a photo shoot with a bunch of people you don't know, doing it for a magazine that you're not that familiar with. And, you've approved all these clothes and, the backdrop looks cool, but then the photographer's like asking you to, I don't know, like take your shirt off, or like, do something that I usually am a bit like, skeptical about, like, unless it feels really right. And yeah, like if I am, I don't know, too nice and just like say yeah and just do it, and then I'm uncomfortable with it, there's been a lot of times where like I just haven't had say on like being able to take it out, and then they don't tell us when they're going to put it out, and then the next thing I see is like a fan has like tagged me in like a photo that I've never seen of myself where I don't like it, and it's an editorial shoot, and it's really shitty, it's real scary. I don't know. So now, like especially when I do shoots that aren't with Michelle, I kind of have to have like a big precursors just saying like, I want to sign off on everything. I want to see the shots before I leave and stuff like that, which means, yeah, it's hard to shoot on film when doing other like editorial shoots. But anyway, with Michelle, it's just like, it's so good that we have that trust and I can sign off on everything. And we both just know, like when Michelle kind of goes through all the shots after a shoot, she kind of like, she will always she'll pick the shots that she loves first, and those are always the ones that I love as well. And then she would like have the trash folder where it's just like the ones that you don't think that I'm gonna like. And you're right, like, yeah,
I've really learned, I think, over the years what Ruel does like, and I think I've learned to shoot that way, if that makes. And even with the live stuff as well, like Ruel goes through all of the photos after a set as well, like where we're on tour, and in the beginning there'd be photos that he didn't like, and I just learned really quickly what they were. And now I can't remember the last time you didn't like a live shot. Like it's I know how to shoot Ruel now, and in a way that he likes and captures everything that we need to capture. So that's just growing together, I think, as artists, and understanding what Ruel wants out there as well. Because I'm hypersensitive of, like, especially when he was younger, like, you just want him to be happy with everything, because the internet's crazy, and Ruel's fans, there's like, he has a really big fan base, and they do take any shot and it's everywhere. So if there's something that he happens to not like, then that would make me feel really uncomfortable. That was something that I took that he didn't like, that was out in the world. Like, that makes me feel really gross. So I prefer to avoid that.
Yeah, was there ever a time, or I'm sure there was, where it sounds like you've been on that same page for a while, but when you first met and you first started working with each other, there was probably a certain amount of learning that went into that, whether it be Ruel communicating to you, Michelle, like, hey, I don't like this, or I do like this. What was
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
collaborative process like for you guys before you got to this point where now you pretty much just know what to do?
Well, yeah, I feel like I was always quite honest from the get-go, like of what I liked or didn't like. I feel like when
Yeah.
Michelle and I just always got along, and we kind of became friends more than we became kind of colleagues. So it was easier
Mhm.
to say like, oh, I don't know about this, but I like this one sort of stuff. Like it was always pretty simple like that. There was no miscommunication, and it came pretty telepathic pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I didn't take it personally either. Like I said, I was very conscious of making sure Ruel was happy with all the photos. And like you said, now it does feel quite telepathic. Like it doesn't, we don't really have to have the conversations as much. But we like, because we were so comfortable with each other, it was just a really easy conversation. Like it wasn't, if Ruel says, yeah, not really sure about that, cool, it's done. And I would always say to him, it's deleted, you'll never see it again in the world. Like, and he had that trust in me as well to know nobody's ever, not going to see the light of day if there's a particular shot that he doesn't want out there. So
Yeah, it's great, you guys. I mean, you could get that trust. And just going back to what you said earlier about photo shoots, I know people who maybe haven't experienced this or done this, but photo shoots can be awkward and it is really uncomfortable, especially being in artist position, going into a shoot, having somebody take a picture of you or ask you to do something and you yourself have to tell them, I don't want to do that. It's a really uncomfortable thing. So usually I would hope, manager, creative director, it's helpful to have people on your team that help you with that. But when you're put in those positions, it's hard. So that's why maybe for people who've never seen how a photo shoot works, it is the thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's nice hearing about how you guys kind of developed that, because I think a lot of people who are out there and trying to work with artists want to know, it's nice to humanize you, Ruel, and it's nice to know where you're coming from, Michelle. And it's nice to me also that the age wasn't really an issue. And I'm sure a lot of people might think that is, but it sounds like as long as you're on the same page, those things don't matter.
you mean the fact that I'm a complete nana? Yeah, it's never really been an issue.
That wasn't a slide. That wasn't any. You guys discussed it. I just.
I'm kidding. No, there obviously there is
God.
like
Should I
quite
go?
a big. No, it's fine.
This is best. I always make fun of Michelle's age. It's great.
He always does. He always like makes it way like, are you 50 this year? Is it your 50th? Or thanks. I mean, I feel like that about all of the team is like we do have such a genuine friendship. Like the creative team are literally my best friends. Like we all hang out outside of work like all of the time. Like it's a very natural relationship with all of us. So I'm glad that when Ruel came into the fold, it was really easy with him and we all just got along with him so well. And it's been a great journey so far.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It would have been fun to be like a little prick, like a little stuck up, like 15-year-old prick, and would have just like, I could have played that card. And I still might.
Sometimes we're kind of like, do you think it will happen? Do you think there's going to be a turn? He's going to turn into a real asshole.
Like you're going to go through a phase of like being an asshole?
It hasn't happened yet, but you never know. Maybe after COVID, he's just like...
Yo, I hope when it happens, let me know. I want to bring you guys on here and I want to experience Ruel as an asshole. Please.
He just starts firing everyone. That's what happens. He's like, you're fired. Catch you later. We're all gone. So.
All right. Well, I hope that doesn't become a reality.
Same.
I was wondering, like, after we're hearing about, you guys creating images together, I was thinking, like, Ruel, from your point of view, not all artists are this hands-on. And it's cool to hear that you care this much about your image. And I don't mean this in like a challenging way. I mean it in a genuine question. Why does it even matter to you what the images look like? I mean, you could easily just say, pick whatever you guys like, but you are more hands-on. So how come?
Well, I think it just becomes hand in hand with the music to me. Like when I'm like, the music is the thing, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to write music, perform music, put out music. But when I'm writing songs, there's always a visual in mind, and there's always, a colorway or like a sort of image, a location or something that's in my head. And then when it comes to, single artwork and stuff like that, I really, really, really matters, because you want people to look at what they're listening to. And when it relates to each other and it's easy to understand and it jumps out at you even before you listen to the song, it's super important. And then I guess with everything else, just like, press shots, and when we do just like tour shots and stuff, like I want it to come in hand with the music. I feel like if I just didn't care about my image or my I don't know, what I look like, in general, I feel like it just wouldn't work as well. I feel like it would just not make sense. It would look like it was two different people writing music and, what I look like.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You want what people see to be the same thing that they hear. And,
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way I think of music videos, right? Like when somebody makes a music video for a song and you watch it, then every time you listen to that song, it kind of plays over in your head and changes the whole vibe of the song.
Exactly. And which is also really scary and dangerous for stuff like that, because videos can like ruin songs for people. And I know, like, my friend has never watched a music video in her life because she's too scared that it's gonna like, or like at least she hasn't watched the music videos of songs she really loves because she's scared it's gonna make her hate the song. And I think that's kind of fair enough, because if you're right, when you, and it's the same as well with like artwork for a single. If you look at something that looks really shitty and like just not tasteful and it's just not nice, then you're probably gonna think the song's shit. Yeah, it's super important.
It's great too that Ruel has such an interest in it as well, because I've worked with other artists that don't care as much, specifically on tour as well. Like they don't care about photography. They don't care. They don't even look at the photos. They don't really, there's no value or respect for what we do. And that, like, I think that's the great thing about Ruel. Like there is such a respect for what we do as a creative team, and we do work so closely with him, and he does really enjoy the process. And like that's just a pleasure. Like it's a pleasure to be involved in some, like with an artist that actually really gives a shit, because the opposite is not that fun. And I don't know if you've experienced that, Adam, but it's just not, creatively it's just not as fun when they're just not enjoying the process or they just don't care. It just makes your job nowhere near as fun.
The theme for everything here seems to be that everybody's on the same team. Everybody's got the same goals and everybody's working together. It's a group effort, which is to me how it should be. But like you said, there's definitely situations where it's not like that and it's not fun. It's just painful for everybody.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that you don't create as good of content, whether it be visual, musical, or anything.
I was just saying, like, Michelle, if you just want to drop some names who's been shitty to work with, that'd be sick. I feel like that'd be really fun.
That'd be great content.
Hard pass on that one.
Yeah.
That's such a part of the industry that is such a no-brainer for professionals, but that some people who might start out might make those mistakes and just say the things. And I'm like, it's an interesting part of the industry where you never talk poorly on anyone unless they're like, committing crimes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say if they're abusers, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely a line that's drawn where it's like, hey, this is harming somebody in an illegal level. Then yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you pull out Shawn Mendes, it's bad. So,
how hard are you going to make this edit, guys? Come on.
No kidding. Shawn's awesome. We had a great
that. I don't like Shawn is the best. I was just making a joke.
No,
he's so great.
Well, I mean, you touched on touring a little bit there. So you guys work in the studio, you create albums, you create the visuals for all your songs together, but then you go out on the road together because, you pretty much work together on everything, which is great. I hear through Michelle, then you could probably back this up, Ruel, based on your guys' story, it sounds accurate, but that your tour vibe is pretty family oriented, maybe on a literal level, because when you were starting out, your parents might have been there. I'm not quite sure, but what curated that initially? Like what created the family aspect of touring for you guys? Because it's not like that for everybody.
Yeah, well, I think my mom being there at the start was huge. It was a huge thing for me. I felt like I just needed someone in my family there, because otherwise I'd legit just be eating fucking McDonald's and getting up at like 3 p.m. every day. So just like that part of it was needed just for my like actual health. But then I guess like when I got a bit older and, when Michelle started to be my mum, because, old Nana Michelle really just helped me with, she made me a sandwich in the morning, gave me a hug when I was feeling.
I do vitamins, make sure you
exactly.
Yeah,
you gotta keep them healthy. Flintstones?
Exactly. Put on my cartoons.
No, I think, obviously Ruel's age had a lot to do with wanting to create. I'm remembering Ruel really early on, like that first Japan tour, your parents weren't on that. It was actually just us. So I think there was, we wanted to create that. So, because Ruel was like 14 at the time. And also to, be hyper aware that we were acting as his parents, like literally acting as his parents in some instances. So, as guardians and stuff like that, like especially Nate and, if I was there in certain situations as well. So, but also I just think it's kind of just the type of people that we are as well, and just very conscious of wanting to, I guess, provide a space that's really comfortable for Ruel, and that where, you know, he can trust us, his family can trust us. Like, we're really conscious of all those things. Like, specifically from a family point of view, like, that's a really big responsibility for, you know, Ruel to be sent across the world. And like, yes, his parents were there the majority of it, or one of his parents are usually there majority of the times, but there was definitely instances where they weren't. And that's really huge to give that responsibility over. And we took that really seriously. And there was, you know, we were very hyper aware of just being responsible adults, I guess, and you know, good role models for Ruel as well. I mean, I hope that's what came across, but that was definitely the aim.
You guys definitely could have played it like, we need to take care of this child, otherwise his parents are gonna fucking kill us. Or it was like, but then again, it didn't feel like I was like this thing that had to be taken care of, or like this sort of.
So they didn't baby you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Space, you know, like it didn't feel like that. You guys still felt like my friends, which was, I don't know how you guys did that. I don't know how you made that balance and like bearable for both of us. So yeah, I always thank you guys for that. So yeah, I never felt, you know, like I was babied, which easily could have happened. So I think that's why the family stuff worked.
Yeah, it's more like a little brother rather than like a, you know, like a child. I think like that's what we were like in the family sense. And like I remember times even like I think there was a time in Amsterdam where it was like towards the end of the tour and the whole band was going out. Ruel wasn't 18 yet. And I think he just wanted to come out with us that night, just to walk around, like not to do anything. And
even walking around in Amsterdam can get a little sketchy.
We went to the red light district and I had a great time.
Just to have a look around, you know. And you know, his mum was like, you know, you should come back. And I just said to her, hey, look, just let him come with us for tonight. I'll make sure he's back by midnight. We'll just hang out for a little bit, just give him a little bit of freedom. And you know, that also shows that she had trust in us to do the right thing then. And also gives Ruel a little bit of freedom because he is with adults the whole time. He's not being able to live a normal life. To go back on the bus in that instance, I was like, that kind of sucks. Like he should be able to come out with us. And his sisters were there as well. So his sisters were on tour at the moment. So I just thought this is a cool opportunity just to let him come out with us for a bit. We're not going to do anything wild. We're just going to walk around a really awesome city, you know, while we're there. So, you know, we always wanted to make it fun for Ruel as well. Like we didn't want to treat him like a little kid and he have to miss out on everything because he's underage. Like I was always really conscious of that as well. Like we're there for him. You know, we don't want him to have to go back and not have any fun. Like that doesn't seem like a great time either.
Yeah, I don't know. We managed to do that without doing anything illegal as well. Like I never actually like had to sneak into bars or anything like that. Like I don't know. It was pretty good. Like we did it pretty well. I never felt left out. I never felt like I had to just get ushered off onto the bus where everyone was having a good time, other than when someone took a shit.
Somebody did the thing you can't do on the bus. You did it.
Yeah, that night. Well, that was that the night though, Ruel. I think we were out and I came back early with you.
Back early, yeah.
Yeah, we came back earlier, being responsible adults that we are, and the rest of the band stayed out a bit later that night. So we did have a bit of a good time. It was fine.
Well, I'm glad to hear you guys had a fun time doing this, because there's definitely a reality in other people's careers who this is not their experience touring when, you know, I think the thing we've talked about is age, but it's so relevant because, you know, often people that are under 18 or depending on where you live, maybe it's a little older, don't have agency to make decisions for themselves. And it sounds like you guys found a really good balance to make this like a memorable thing, but not a dangerous thing, but not it's like you did everything right. So respect, because that's not how it always works out. As we see with people like, you know, maybe Britney Spears or something like that, you know, it's just a rough life for some people.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So, I mean, moving on from touring, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was shooting live, because, you know, every night, I know you guys hang out during the day and at night, but there's always a live concert. And something that stuck out to me when I was talking to Michelle before this is that, and I kind of related to, is that when she shoots you live, she mentioned that there's kind of a connection between you guys, and whether that be, I don't know how that embodies itself. Like, I don't imagine you guys are legitimately talking to each other with words, but there must be some kind of communication. So Michelle, maybe I just spoiled everything you could say, but can you tell me a little bit about that connection? And then Ruel, after she's done, just
Yeah.
you know, tell how her presence affects everything. I don't know, but that's the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear from Ruel's point of view, because I don't really know how to
Yes.
explain it, but I can tell that he knows where I am. He knows where I am. So, and it's not like he's clearly not watching me because he's performing, but it like either it's a weird like at the corner of his eye or something. He's just there's an awareness, and which is always really nice as a photographer, because he'll come to spaces where I am, and because he's performing, all over the place. And then there's a moment that I notice that he notices me and that he'll come to that space, and then he moves off again. And that makes my job really easy because I'm trying to capture certain moments. So it's not like he's fixated, but it's obviously something there that he
Ruel's just like, I don't do that. I don't do that at all.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to say that, but I don't know.
No.
You're a weirdo, Michelle.
No, that's completely right. Like, there's definitely an awareness. Like, I always feel like, I don't know why you're wearing all black and in the shadows black, and always it's very easy to spot. I don't know. Like, I find, but it is definitely the corner of my eye sort of thing. Like, I'm never kind of looking for you. Like, I'll be like trying to perform to the audience, and then let's say I see you on the corner of my eye on the other side of the stage. I think it's more impressive for you to know exactly where I'm going to go as well, because I don't give you any indication. So like, if I see you over there and I just like start like, kind of walking that way, but still performing to the audience, and then I'll just do like a little look, and then maybe I'll just like jump down onto the rails. So just do something out of the ordinary. And that's usually where the best shots taken. Like the ones where we're in like that one show in Amsterdam that we did at the last end of the tour, like when I just like climbed up onto the
riser?
Onto the riser. Yeah, that's what it's called. The riser. And I just saw that you were behind me, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like grab my guitar and like do a real dumb like fucking Guitar Hero jump. And we got it, and you like absolutely killed it. You just like got like the best shot ever. And it was so sick. And
that
would have been so dumb.
Crazy. Yeah. That shit was so wild, because when I got that shot, it was weird that I was in the right position, because Amsterdam didn't have a pit. So it was really tricky to shoot because it was sold out, and this venue people were crammed in. So you couldn't actually get anywhere near the front of the stage. So I had to shoot from the side of the stage, the back of the venue, and the back of the stage. So for this particular moment, I was at the back of the stage and Ruel jumped. And I remember looking at the back of the screen, taking a photo of the screen, sending it to the group chat, during the show. And I was like, I just took the best photo of my career. I was like so excited about this photo just to get that moment. Like, it was just like, yeah. And then you did it again in Bangkok, and I got it from the front.
We did 2 shows in Bangkok, and I did it. I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna do this every show now. Like, do like a
big jump.
Like, if I do things, Michelle will take pictures of them, and then I can show everybody that I do these things. It's a great, I mean, that is great teamwork.
In my mind.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then we just did that in Bangkok, and then he got it again and again, and was like, oh, this is like, because those are not easy shots to take as well, because you can easily miss
they're
it.
Not.
Because it's not like I'm like hanging in the air. It's just like in real life, if you video it, it's very awkward. I'm just like, but when you get it,
I make it look like you're hanging for sure.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a real
no videos of the jump allowed. No videos allowed. Just photos.
No, but it was really cool because he did it like 3 shows in a row, and then we had one show in Australia, which was like the last festival that before COVID. And I remember being in the pit with like 1 million photographers. Like, it was like the first time we'd been back in like 6 months, and I got to see all my friends in the pit. And I was like, oh my God, guys, he's going to do a jump. He's going to do a jump. So all the other photographers got to take a photo. They didn't get it as good, I don't think. But anyway, they only had one over there.
Okay, Michelle, chill out. All right, we get it. Your shot's really... No.
No, I gave him an opportunity though. I gave him a heads up.
The fire's about to go. The streamers are going to blow here. Like, you got to help other people out when you can.
Yeah. If you know the moments in the show, I like to help out the other photographers for sure.
Ruel, when they're all getting ready for the jump, that's when you got to not do it now. You got to do something else.
He won't do it anymore.
Yeah, something like, gotcha. I'm just picturing now, like when you guys go back to shows, like you're going to be, I feel like now that we've talked about that you do communicate on stage, he's just going to be messing with you. Like, you're going to be ready for a shot and go to the other end of the stage and be like, what's going on? Where are you at? It's putting you to the test.
Yeah, making me run to the other side.
Yeah. I like that idea. This is all good.
Yeah. This is a nightmare, I can imagine.
We're brainstorming today.
We did get to do a show not that long ago in Perth, which was like just a one-off, which was actually really awesome. And I get the good thing was that it just came back so quickly. Like everything, it was just like, yeah,
Muscle
we'll just
memory.
slip right back in to
it just exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel it is a lot harder though when like doing shows so far in between and so little and far in between, because when you start tour, the first show or two is always a bit, like rough. You kind of trying to get it. And then once you kind of get into your rhythm, the rest of the shows become automatic. And then by like the last few shows, like that's when like it's in the muscle memory, but you also start to do the cool, like new spontaneous shit where it makes it feel really special. And then now in the shows, when the shows like once every like few months, especially in Australia, because lockdown just keeps coming and going, coming and going, it feels like every show is like the first show on tour. So it's really hard to get it to feel like, really good. So, yeah, I'm excited to actually get back on like a proper tour where I'll have a lot of goes at it before I can start, spontaneity.
Yes, spontaneity. Yeah. There's a lot of freedom in. I think once you get to play and you get to relax and you can just you can get let loose a little bit in those shows once you just know it inside out. So yeah, exactly. I can't wait for that as well.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's like anything, right? When you start out, all the things that you have to do take up so much of your mind space, and then once you can learn all those things to a point where you can free your mind, then you can really start being like, all right, I know how to be on stage, and now I can do all these other things while I'm doing these things that used to take me forever to think about. Got to get you back to that point. Maybe play some like Guitar Hero in the meantime. I don't know.
No, I got it. I'm actually like now like talking about all these shots. Like I've kind of just gone back and look at some of them like that I posted, like just to remind myself. And holy shit, I never realized how fucking this is making me like real sad looking at all these shots again. Like I'm looking at all like the
reminiscing
photos. I haven't looked at these in so long. Like legit, I haven't looked at these in like 8 months. But the man, okay.
Can't believe how long it's been COVID. It's blowing my mind.
I know. It gets me really emotional too. I mean, I miss touring so much for so many reasons. Like, I mean, obviously all the moments that we spoke about, because it is genuinely such a family. Like we do all like each other so much and hanging out. But just, I love shooting Ruel shows. Like I just never get sick of it. And we did, I don't know how many we did in 2019. It must have been close to, it was over 50, definitely over 50. Maybe
we did like 80 shows in 2019.
Yeah, it was something. I never get sick of shooting Ruel show. I've said this before, but I never get sick of hearing Ruel sing. I sit in on every sound check because I just love hearing Ruel sing. I just genuinely do.
Those are the good shots there.
Yeah.
Good shots and sound
so
check.
I miss so much of it. So it's hard not to get kind of down about it, and I try and keep really positive, and hopefully it's not too far away. But and even just for Ruel, like to have 2 years out of his career not being able to do so many shows, it just, that makes me sad as well. So it's just really sad. It's really sad for music, and it's really sad for our individual art forms and photography and all of that. So I think we're all just really keen to really get back into it. And looking at America now is really inspiring, and seeing all of my friends that have gone out to shoot festivals in the last couple of weeks, and Rolling Loud and Lollapalooza. And as much as it broke my heart, it also gave me something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we're definitely going to be going over there sooner than we're going to be doing shows at home, which will be fun.
Yeah, come hang.
Yeah, do you see Splendor in the Grass is like the one festival that in Australia, it's like the kind of Coachella of Australia, and it's I'm sure and like it's been pushed back like so many times, but they've kept the same lineup. So I'm playing it. Well, I have been supposed to be playing it, and like the lineups like Tyler the Creator, the Strokes, and the Gorillaz, like some of 3 of my like favorite artists. Like I've been so excited to play it, and then when COVID hit, when it got cancelled, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then it got pushed back to December, and then it got pushed back for this year, and it was only supposed to happen in November this year, and they've just cancelled it again, and now it should be coming July 2020. And I'm like, oh God. And that's like the one show that I'm so excited for. And it's been pushed back so many times. But I reckon that one, when that comes around, is going to be a special one.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. I mean, have you guys done, I know COVID's lasted a long time, and maybe everybody's kind of been in this mindset of like, we're almost there. And sometimes that makes you not do as much because you're like, okay, when it's over, we'll do something. But because of COVID, have you guys worked together at all remotely or at all? I know you were doing like FaceTime shoots before.
Yeah. We did a bunch of shoots, and we've been,
We've done two. We did the Sydney one when I came to your house, and we did all that stuff that ended up being used for Too Many Feelings. We did that whole shoot. And then we did another shoot in March, which was like a really big kind of preempting, like we can do stuff at the moment. So if we can't for a while, let's just do a really big a press shot sort of shoot, which was probably, to be honest, probably my favorite shoot to date. I'm dying for people to see these photos. Like they're probably some of my favorite I've ever taken. So that shoot, I just adore it. I just think it's so great. So hopefully the world gets to see those soon. But yeah, we got to do that. So yeah, we've been able to do little bits and pieces, which has been great. Those moments kind of keep me going, which is really great. And also Ruel did a performance in Sydney with another favourite artist of mine, Jared James, which happened not that long ago. And I flew up to Sydney just to see that and take some photos and stuff that day. And that, like, little moments like that kind of just keep you inspired and keep you going.
Little sparks, little jolts of energy.
Sparks, yeah. They give you a few months hope to keep going. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that hour went by quick, but we pretty much are here finishing up. I have a few last questions. It's just shower shoes. That's all the question is. It's not like last deep questions. I just want to know if you guys wear shower shoes or what.
Please ask this question. This is so funny.
Oh,
right,
God.
Who wants to go first? I don't care. Let's hear it.
We had a drummer. How about you? You tell the story, Michelle. I feel like I'm going to spill something.
We had a crew member that was very big on, like he was definitely one that mentioned shower shoes. I think we didn't really know the shower shoes situation, and I think, like, I don't think any of us even considered it, to be honest. We were kind of like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we're just like, shower shoes, like, why would you wear shoes in the shower? Also, we're Australian, so, like, you know, we're used to walking around in bare feet, and who cares? But anyway, there was one what do they call, day room, and this person went to have a shower, and they had used all of the spare bath towels. They put them in the bath, at the bottom of the bath, to have their shower.
Because he forgot his shower shoe.
Because he forgot his shower shoe. So that was the important thing. He forgot his shower shoe. So then the next person went in and all of the towels had been used.
Soaking wet on the floor. No, but that's the thing. It wasn't even in the day room. It was at the venue.
Oh, it was at the venue. Okay. I actually thought it was the day.
Anyway, we don't do shower shoes. We probably should. We've probably got a lot of bunions.
We probably should.
Nah,
but we're all kind of like, we thought it was ridiculous. We're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I'd love to hear that. I'm team no shower shoes, so I'm happy to have my my decision backed by more people. A little more confirmation bias here, so that's great.
I love it. I remember when you were doing Twitch and you had the no shower shoes little emote. I love it.
Yeah, it's necessary. We gotta push. We gotta push for the cause. Well, thank you guys for doing this with me. I appreciate it. You know,
it was super fun. Thank you so much.
Just thank you again. I just really appreciate it. That's all I can say. And I hope to see and meet you guys in real life sometime when it's all safe. So Michelle, I'll keep track of you guys, and I'll hopefully come see a show.
Absolutely.
I want to see gospel live after doing my research. I want to see that.
Adam was telling me he did research, and he was like, everyone was just asking about gospel. I'm like, please ask Ruel about gospel. He'll love that.
I've just been listening to it, prepping. It's a good song. Maybe at like 2 million followers, right? That was like the 1 million followers thing. 2 million followers, you know, it's like the first verse.
I wouldn't do that shit for 10 million followers.
I'm sorry if I made you dislike me in the last 30 seconds.
Look, you didn't make me like you. No, I'm kidding.
You didn't have that much work to do, Adam. All right, sweet. Oh, cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Connor's here. Join in, Connor. We can share. If you're watching a video, you'll see that Connor and I are next to each other now because we both live in LA.
Dude, hello.
Hey, talking to the mic.
Hello there.
Connor, I heard you shot a festival recently.
Dude, I did. Just got back from Mexico. That was it's a little wild.
My autofocus on my camera is going crazy. Well, welcome back, and I'm happy to be here with you in LA. And you're working pretty steadily now, right?
Trying to. A few gigs here and there. Mexico definitely kept me busy for 2 weekends, but happy to be here shooting some weddings and yeah, staying busy.
Hell yeah. If somebody wants to be in the music industry and you're living in a small city, that's fine. But Connor's proof. Move to LA, Nashville, Chicago, New York. and just yell it from the rooftops that you live there.
I'm definitely yelling. Maybe not from the rooftops, maybe in the street.
Even I have to do it. I just moved back to LA and I'm just telling everybody, I'm here now, hire me. And it took 2 weeks. I got 1 gig though, so we'll keep going.
Just yell louder.
Yeah, I gotta yell louder.
All right. Awesome, dude.
All right, well, if you guys are ever in LA, hit Connor and I up. We will come to the show. We will come hang out with you. Or if you just want to come crash, we're both in the valley hanging out, come record a podcast with us. We don't care. We just want to hang out and meet other cool people trying to tour. So, yeah.
Let's get some food.
We're getting
food.
We just ate dinner.
We did eat dinner.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.